Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm the Thrifty Trooper and I've filmed this just before Christmas, so it should come out around like Boxing Day. So if you're watching, I hope you had a lovely Christmas and you drunk a lot and ate a lot, and yeah, Santa brought you everything that you wished for. Basically I'm just doing this little video. I say little, I've babbled a lot about it. It's about investments in like bundles and Joblots, and where to find them, and where I found these three that I put a verses in the middle of the thumbnail, and it's not like comparing because I'm getting all the profit at the end of the day, but it is kind of because I've talked about how like I'm comfortable about getting trainers and not very comfortable about Sylvanian Families. And I've basically just talked a little bit about that. And it was basically for Q4 and how much I spent, and I went all professional. I've done like little profit tables and everything for your viewing pleasure. So it's I'm just bringing up the first one now. It is Nerf Guns. This, if you remember, I did like a mini video on this, and it's basically a bundle of Nerf Guns that I got from the car boot, and I paid £25 on the store. If you want to check that out, that's it's somewhere on my channel. But I paid £25, and he wanted 50 originally, but I cut him down to half price, which is insane. And I think it's mainly because people really don't like. So obviously I've split them up into bundles. These are just the two that I've sold. People don't really like Nerf stuff. It's particularly for eBay because of the packaging, because they're so chunky and they're so expensive and heavy. I don't mind that as long as you offset it in the price, and I think that's kind of what I do quite well. I've got like a profit like sheet coming up. Hang on, it's any second. And it'll basically show you like I offset the postage by like putting it up a little bit more. As you can, here we go, see, look at this slick YouTube. So basically, if you can see the right at the top, it sold for £50 because I put it up at a price. I've told this story before. I put it up at a price that was ridiculous because I wanted to go back and actually lower it and change it and edit it, but it ended up selling like that. It was ridiculous. But the posting packaging, the P&P, I put it at £5.5. Now I think the actual cost was £3.85 because it didn't go over a certain amount at the Hermes place. I think it's up to 5 kilograms, but I added extra protection because of the actual cost of the item. I added that a little bit extra insurance, even though a lot of people don't really do that anymore. I think am I the last one? Considering my past experience with Hermes, I've had like one or two of the past like couple of weeks that have not been good. I try and put as much insurance as I can because I'm paranoid. If you look, I've made a profit of £40 and 49p. I mean, that's pretty good, isn't it? Off that, it's basically paid for the whole lot. The Rebel bow and the Captain America shield, they went for £32.70, and profit off that was £22 and 4p. And if you can see like the cost, what I basically did was I did all these bundles and I divided it and that's my average price, so that's my cost. Not technically, I mean, I'm pretty sure like some of them go for more, like I paid more, but £25 divided by them, that's how much I got. And you've got to remember to take your cost off. And so my net profit at the end of the day, after, if everything sells the way I want it to sell, which is, I don't know, I'm open to taking offers on these now because I've made my money. I'm like, yeah, whatever. I would get £175, 24p. That's after everything. That's after cost, after eBay fee, PayPal fees, and the postage. So I'm pretty chuffed, to be honest. And I'm not on a Nerf connoisseur or anything. I have bought in the past, and they're very easy to sell, and you know how to present and all that. And it helps that I've got nieces and nephews and stuff, and they can tell me what's in right now, because I've got no real idea. I do now, kind of, that I've been dealing with it. I do kind of know, like, which ones are selling, and how to present the other ones, and the actual cost and prices and all that lot. But I'm no real connoisseur, and definitely for the next bundle that I bought, I had no idea. So I'm just going to load that up now. This is one that I've kind of splashed around social media as well. Excuse me. This is like the Sylvanian Families bundle that I've got, and I had a load of these sets, these stages, these little play sets, but they had hardly anything with them. They were basically just like the bare bone sets. Oh my god, when it comes to Sylvanian Families, they're very cute and everything, and I remember them when I was little, and my sister used to be obsessed with them, and she still kind of is. But yeah, I've stayed well clear, because whenever I've looked to try and like snipe a deal on any of them, they've always gone for ridiculous money, and if you haven't got the boxes, then it's not really worth it. And if it hasn't got all the bits and all the families and all, like, I mean, it's just a nightmare. It really is, to keep a track of all this stuff. I mean, don't get me wrong, they do go for good money, but it's the same with Lego. I'm very cautious about when I buy it. So if I see a good deal, like, I thought this was going to be a flying off the shelves kind of deal for like Christmas. I think I might have put it up too high. I don't know if I've done it wrong completely, but I'm going to keep them because they are evergreen throughout the year. But I paid £50. That was my biggest investment, and none of them have sold, which is just typical. I mean, it's typical of me. But yeah, I've split them up into bundles, and technically the sets cost £50, and these figures that you can see at the top, the Sylvanian Families kangaroo figures, I got these from B&M. There was like a flash deal on them, and I found it out, and if you go on, is it Hot Deals UK or something, like, it was like, oh, local B&M stores are doing these sets for £5, and it was only in my local B&M. I went to 4 other B&Ms, but I went they were a £5 basically, reduced from like, I think it was like 15. So I got like 4 packs of them, and I thought, oh, they'll come in handy, I'll put them up, and I never did. And then I went into a charity shop and I saw these sets for £50, and I got them, and I thought there was like 10 sets. There isn't. There's like I think there's like seven or 8. But I basically put all of these sets together in little bundles, and I put the figures in. So technically my spend is £70, which is ridiculous for me. I mean, oh god, I don't know what I was thinking, because I don't know anything really. All I know is that it's expensive, it's cute, and it's very kind of like, you know, it's very desirable to have like full sets and everything, and the very kind of like, you know, role play, you know, that kind of thing. And so I do know like a tiny little bit, but I'm not like one of these professional Sylvanian family sellers. They are out there, and they are amazing, because I don't know how they make a living off this. But yeah, none of these have sold, and it's basically something that kind of triggered the idea of this video, because even though with the Nerf stuff I knew a little bit more about that kind of thing, ironically the Sylvanian Families is I like to sell toys and stuff, so this should be my kind of, you know, wheelhouse. Whereas the Nerf stuff, I don't know, I'm a little bit more confident on that side. And I don't know, is there anybody else who's got like, not a niche, but like a particular genre, like type of toy or type of area which they feel comfortable in selling? I'm sure that's true. Oh, look at this. So this is basically what I've listed it and what I hope to get. And by the to be honest, I doubt I'm going to get this, but yeah, I've sold none of them. None of them are green. Oh, God. So my profit should be £107.13p if everything gets sold the way at the price that I want. But I doubt that's going to happen. To be honest, I'll be happy if I even break even, to be honest, which doesn't mean I'll sell them each for £11.66. I won't do that. But if, you know, I mean, there was an offer on, ironically, just before Christmas, about 2 or 3 days before Christmas, someone wanted the Courtyard restaurant, and they wanted it for £15, and I was like, no. And so I'm not willing to take any offer, but I will consider offers. You know what, I accounted with like $34.99, and they didn't get back to me, and I'm not peeved off about that or anything, but it's like, no, don't take the mick. So I don't know if they found it cheaper elsewhere, or if they managed to get a better deal or anything, but yeah, I will consider offers, but it's like, you know, it's what you feel comfortable with at the end of the day. Now, the last little investment that I wanted to talk about is one that, again, I've probably mentioned, but this is like a proper in-depth thing, and this is the one that I'm more excited about, that I kind of know a lot more. So let me just load that up. Okay, this is like a big bundle of shoes. There's 11 pairs, and I I was extremely skeptical about this when I went to go and pick it up. I think it was on a Sunday because I was coming back from the car boot, and I was on Gumtree. The majority of stuff that I buy is either from Facebook or Gumtree in terms of like bulk stuff. I mean, the Sylvanian Families I think I just got lucky on, so I think you've just got to kind of like really spread your eye, so to speak, like everywhere if you want to try and get Joblots or cardboard, bundles and stuff. Again, Nerf stuff. I was very lucky at the car boot. It was at a specific time he wanted to get rid, and yeah, I've told the story, so I won't go into it. But this stuff, these trainers, it was on Gumtree, and I had to travel like it was like 10 minutes out my way, so no problem, really. I mean, yeah, when I got to the door and I knocked on, it wasn't in a particularly nice area, and that sounds such a snobby thing to say. I was going to say really like bitchy thing to say. I'm just going to say it's bitchy and it's horrible, and some of my family actually live in places like that. But basically, she opened the door and it stunk it stunk of weed and fags and everything else. And I didn't come from a rough area, but I know what certain drugs smell like, let's put it that way. And so she just gave me the bin bag, and it was a bin bag full of these trainers, and I gave her a tenner, and I literally gone, and I was looking through them in the car, and I was like, oh god, I hope I haven't just gone and bought like stolen stuff. But she said she was moving out of her house, and she needed to get rid of all of her son's trainers, to like you do, it's just getting rid. She had loads of other stuff up as well, that which kind of like reassured me. There was like a for sale sign outside her house, so I was like, oh right, that's fine. And then I checked like her Gumtree, and she had loads of other stuff, like household stuff. So I do believe her actually, and I've had no trouble at all. But but then my second kind of doubting suspicion was like, oh god, the fake, they've got to be fake for £10 for 11 pairs. That's insane. So basically I went through them, and honestly, they all stunk. They absolutely stunk. Not of like feet or BO, because some of them are in really crispy condition. It just stunk of fags and like smoke, and they were proper pungent. And I'm an ex-smoker, so, and I haven't smoked like proper cigarettes in a couple of years. I do vape now and again, but and so when you can smell it, it really does get in your nostrils, and I've had to wash them twice, and the red pair at the back, if you can see that, they are still kind of pretty minging, but even though they look like the newest, they are just, oh god. So basically, I got all these for a tenner. Now I'm just going to bring up the profit share. Okay, here we are. I've already sold, I put up 3 just to see how they'd do, and they were the best 3, I suppose. But I sold a pair for £29 and 5p. That's inclusive of postage, and they netted me £21 profit already. And they were, which one were they? They were like the suede ones, those Nike Air Force ones. The Pegasus ones are actually in the previous picture. They're at the front. They're like the orange ones, the running ones. And I did a video already about this, and I've had to delete it because it's basically all wrong. I did a load of research, and I was putting down like the comparisons of like the lowest end of like how much I could get for him, because I don't know if it's me, but I put things just as buy now. I very rarely do auction unless I want to get rid. And the shoes that I buy myself, I've bought Nike trainers online at like 3 in the morning because someone, after coming in from a night out at like 3 in the morning, I've sniped some trainers for like £3. Some Nike almost brand new crispy trainers, and it's because people put them on late, and I don't get that. You've got to properly time it right, and everyone else has talked about that. But basically, I find I was researching them, and I was putting the lowest amount in, and my total profit would be £60. That's what I initially thought. That was my video. That when the first day, the night that I got them, and I was looking through them, and I was like, checking them to see how much I would get. But then I did some thorough research of what I could get, and this is all after all my list price and all my net profit. It's 188 quid. How does that happen? That's after like all my fees, all my postage, you know, my minuscule cost. Oh yeah, I worked out they were like 91p like each. That's insane. But the thing is, everyone's got this like an area which they prefer to be in, and I'm an everything. I'm a general kind of guy, but I think it's because I've got something like 20 Nike trainers myself. I'm not a collector because I do wear them, but I wear the buggery out of them. Honestly, half of them are falling off my feet. But like, I do love, like, not the newest trainers, but like the retro trainers, and I do like there's a pair of Nike trainers in here, a pair of white ones which I love, but they're a size 8, so I'm like, oh, I can't keep them. But yeah, I think everyone's got their own thing, and I think you've just got to cast your eye a little bit wider these days, because people either just want to get rid, like that woman did on Gumtree, or, you know, they want to get at least something for them, which is basically what we do on eBay, to be honest. But yeah, it's I think it was Cookies and Hayden, his channel. Is it Crabboot Chris? He basically said, like, try and buy outside your comfort zone, I think, on one of his channels, like something that you wouldn't necessarily buy, or you know, something that makes you a little bit uncomfortable. And I'm sure like other eBay reseller YouTubers have talked about this, but like buying a little bit something that you have no idea about. Like, I've just started to go for women's clothing, mainly because to buy and resell, not to actually wear, God. But yeah, just to buy and to resell. But I've been mainly going for women's clothing. Mainly because it sells so quickly. Men's clothing, even though I know more about it, obviously, because I'm a bloke, it doesn't sell. And I think because men, when they buy something, they wear, like me, they wear the bejesus out of it, and they don't need to buy it, or whenever they do buy, it's like on auction the last second, that kind of thing. Whereas women, they don't mind buying or spending a little bit of extra on something nice, do you know what I mean? But I think it is such a saturated market when it comes to with women's clothing. But I've been finding women's clothing and shoes, particularly shoes, have been flying off the shelves, so to speak. Like that, there's been my quickest kind of like turnover. Yeah, so even though I knew nothing about women's clothing, I do have an older sister and my friends and like my mum as well, and they've kind of like guided me in the right direction, and other YouTubers are just a like short list. I mean, let's have a look. Like Andrea Hills, obviously, like they are like amazing, them two. But like Mel Sparrows End, the Celtic Traders, Karen Self's Clothes, Donna the Brummie, Shellsterooney, Reselling Polly, she lives near me, so I've learned so much from them, just by watching the videos and just by like taking it all in and trying to like pick up the different brands, like instead of like picking up, because I know what, like obviously like Primark's stuff and like the Matalan brands and stuff, but there were other brands that I wasn't too sure of, like Marks and Spencer's and Peruna, but they've kind of said, like I've seen it because of them. I've started picking up those sort of like the Marks and Spencer's brands, and because I didn't know what Peruna was, and then I had to ask my mum and everything. It was a whole thing. But don't be afraid to kind of like step outside your comfort zone and to pick up random stuff, like crockery and stuff like that. I mean, I am not a connoisseur when it comes to this sort of stuff, but it's when it comes to investments and job lots and bulks and stuff, maybe that might be a good way to get in to certain areas and push you to experiment a little bit if you've got the budget, because that £10 haul for the trainers, that was a great kind of like little investment. That's like the perfect investment. But you go to auction houses as well, you can get a load of crockery and cutlery and crockery for like a £5 boxes, £5 boxes, and like vintage antiques and stuff, and you can sell them on, and it'll dip your toe in the water, and you can kind of get used to it. And you know, not all Joblots are scary, and you know, or because I prefer like Joblots, like computer games. That's like bread and butter. That's easy. I know it inside out, but only because that I've done it so much. Like now that I'm starting to do, you know, probably more clothing and more trainers. Like I'm getting used to like sorting the wheat out from the chaff, sorting the crappy from the good. You know, that kind of thing. So yeah, I mean, it all depends on what you're into, and what you're interested in. But do you know, you won't know unless you don't do it. And it sounds like really glib, and I hate it when people say that, but it is true. It really is. I mean, rip the band-aid off, all those platitudes, you know, get on with it. Yeah, so this is just like my little update of some of my investments for Q4. I mean, I've done okay, and these are things that that going into the new year, I can kind of just sit on and just leave, and they'll go eventually because they're like all year round, the evergreen stuff. So I'm quite happy with them. Yeah, although one bundle that you could, or bundle Joblots, all that, people are getting rid of Christmas stuff already, I've noticed, and for like cheap prices. Go into charity shops, they have like bags of baubles for 50p. I got a load of baubles and sorted them out into colour, and I put them in batches of like different colour, and they went £15 each, and I paid about, I think I paid like £2 for like, it was 2 big bin bags full of Christmas decorations, and I sold all of them apart from one. Now I've got one left over it's being saved for next Christmas. But yeah, I've sold all up until the summer. It was from the summer up until November. I sold all of these Christmas decorations. It's insane, it really is, and they're all year round. It's not just Christmas. So yeah, seasonal does sell, and all year round. Yeah, anyway, that was just like a little adage on the end. Right, I'm going to leave it because I'm like, this is ridiculously babbling now. Yeah, so I hope you all have had a Merry Christmas, and yeah, hopefully have a really good New Year as well. There is another video coming. I've kind of been on it this week, like just before Christmas I basically did like 4 videos, and this is like the second or third one. So yeah, stay tuned, and see you next time. Bye.